AITA for kicking my parents out and telling them. This is why I was so messed up as a kid. I can't stop replaying this moment in my head. It's been eating away at me since it happened, and I guess I need to get it out. This past weekend, I had my parents over for dinner. They're both in their 60s, and well, our relationship has always been a bit complicated, to say the least. I'm 32 now, and I've spent a lot of my adult life trying to heal from my childhood. But some people just don't change, I guess. Anyway, after dinner, my 10-year-old daughter, who I'm incredibly proud of, asked if she could play us a song on her keyboard. She's been taking lessons for a few months now, and she's really into it. I love seeing how excited she gets about music. As a single dad, it means the world to me that she's finding her passions and working so hard at them. So, she starts playing. Now, was it perfect? No. There were some missed notes, and she stumbled a little bit, but I could see how much effort she was putting in. She was focused, her little fingers moving carefully across the keys. And then, when she finished, she looked up at us with this huge, hopeful smile, like she was waiting for our approval. I was just about to start clapping, feeling proud as hell, when suddenly I hear it. Laughter. My parents. Not just a polite chuckle, either, but full-blown belly laughs. Like they were watching the most ridiculous comedy sketch in the world. I could see the way my daughter's face changed. That smile she had, it just dropped. She looked crushed. Her shoulders slumped, and she stared down at the keys like she wanted to disappear. It was like time froze for a second, and I could feel the anger bubbling up inside me. But before I could even react, my mom chimed in with a snide. Was that your first time playing it? And then my dad, in that casual, dismissive tone he always uses, said, a dog could have done better than that. I swear, it was like watching my daughter shrink right in front of me. She whispered, no, I've had 2 lessons, but using 2 hands is hard. She was trying to explain herself, trying to justify why it wasn't perfect, and they just laughed even harder. I can't describe the fury that hit me in that moment. My baby, my sweet little girl, was standing there, vulnerable, looking for encouragement, and all they could do was tear her down. I felt this surge of heat rush through me. I couldn't even think straight. Without even realizing it, I was already on my feet, grabbing their cups off the table. I turned to them, and in a voice that I barely recognized as my own, said, leave. Now! My mom tried to laugh it off. Oh, we haven't even finished our drinks. We'd love to hear another song. She started, but I cut her off. I was done. Get your stuff and get the fuck out of my house. My dad started his typical passive-aggressive huffing, like he always does when someone challenges him. My mom, clearly taken aback, said, there's no need to be like this. You can't protect her from everything. We're just preparing her for the real world. That was it. Something snapped inside me. I turned to them, and with every ounce of anger I'd been holding in for decades, I told them, this isn't the real world. You're just cruel. You've always been cruel. And this is why I was so messed up as a kid. Now leave. There was no going back after that. My parents, stunned and clearly not used to me standing up to them like that, grabbed their things and left. As soon as the door closed, I turned to my daughter. She was still sitting there, her little hands resting on the keyboard, looking confused and hurt. I sat down next to her, trying to push down the anger still burning inside me, and told her how proud I was, that she had done so well, and that none of what they said mattered. They were just being mean because that's all they know how to be, I said, trying to make her understand, though it broke my heart that she even had to witness that. I asked if she'd play the song again for me. Hesitant at first, she did, and this time, even with the lingering hurt, she played beautifully. The next day, I texted my parents, letting them know that until they could learn to act like decent human beings, we were done. I wasn't letting that kind of negativity around my daughter. My dad replied with his typical coldness, it's your choice, but I didn't realize I raised you to be so precious. It's funny how even through a text, I could hear the disdain in his voice, like protecting my daughter made me weak or something. I felt my blood boil all over again, but I let it go. I didn't owe them a response. And of course, as if on cue, my sister decided to get involved. She's always been the golden child, the one who can do no wrong in their eyes. She called me, and before I could even say hello, she launched in her lecture, repeating their version of the story. Apparently, I'm a nasty piece of work for how I treated our parents. According to her, I'm wrapping my daughter in cotton wool, sheltering her too much from the real world. I didn't have the energy to argue with her. I'd heard this song and dance 1,000 times growing up. So, I just told her to fuck off and hung up the phone. I don't regret standing up for my daughter. I'll always do that, no matter what. But I can't shake the feeling that maybe I went too far. I kicked them out without warning, swore in front of my daughter, raised my voice, and let all that pent-up anger explode in a single moment. I wonder if I should have handled it differently. Could I have stayed calmer? Talked it out? Maybe. But in that moment, all I could see was my daughter's hurt, and all I could feel was a burning need to protect her from the same cruelty I endured my whole life. So, did I overreact? Could I have handled this better? I don't know. AITA? Edit 1 Wow. I wasn't expecting this kind of response. First off, just to clear things up, I'm a single dad, not a mom, but I appreciate the comments either way. Reading through your stories and your support is really helping to ease the anger I've been holding on to since this happened. Edit 2. I've been thinking a lot after reading through your comments. It's strange how something like this, something that felt so personal and isolating, has connected me to so many of you who grew up with toxic parents. It's sad, but also comforting to know that I'm not alone in this. I've decided to sit down with my daughter this weekend and really talk to her about everything that happened. I want her to know she's loved, she's supported, and that none of what happened was her fault. As for my parents and my sister, they can disappear for all I care. I'm done bending over backward to make things right with people who don't care about anyone but themselves. And to those of you who said you wished you had someone to stand up for you like this when you were younger, I get it. I really do. I hope you found that person now, or that you can be that person for someone else. Because no one deserves to feel small.